It's not good. Now it's a competition. Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Sommelier Reacts. My name is Vince Anner, I'm a certified sommelier, and today we're gonna be seeing who has the better bargain wines, Trader Joe's or Aldi. It's a question I'm asked a ton. Are wines from stores like Trader Joe's or Aldi worth it? Before we get into it, let me start here. If you can buy wines from a small wine shop or even a medium-sized wine shop, you should do that instead. In fact, I'm releasing a video next week about why that's so important and it'll get you more consistently better wines for the same or less than the grocery store. But I know a lot of you are still curious about these wines and I kinda am too, so here's what we're gonna do. I've got 8 wines back there, 4 from Aldi and 4 from Trader Joe's, and each has a matching partner. So for instance, we're gonna compare an Aldi Cabernet to a Trader Joe's Cabernet. I'm gonna taste them blind, which means I'm not gonna know what they are, rate them which one I like better, and then I'm gonna rate them in general. And at the end of the video, I'm gonna pick a winner. And don't worry, I've got a tiebreaker on hand if we need it. But before we do this, it's important to talk about how these stores get their wines. Believe it or not, these stores were actually founded by 2 brothers from Germany. They founded Aldi together, but then they split up over business differences, and one went on to start Trader Joe's. Despite this though, they're completely different stores. They're not related or partnered together or anything like that. Let's start with Aldi. Their wines occasionally win awards, a fact that their marketing team makes very well known when it happens. You may remember a few years ago when its $8 Provence Rosé went viral and you couldn't even find it anywhere. It can be a bit tough to know exactly how all these wines are produced, but here's what I've found. They seem to have 3 tiers of wine. Their Winking Owl brand, which are bottles under $5, and my best guess is that they have long-standing contracts with the people making bulk juice from somewhere fairly inexpensive to get it from, like Central Inland California. Then they have their Exquisite selection, and other wines that you're likely only gonna find at Aldi. This is most of their wine selection. Aldi has partnerships with producers all over the world that bottle these wines just for Aldi, and then Aldi slaps their label on them. So for instance, these producers may make their own wine, also a private label for Aldi, also a private label for another grocery store. But a lot of times these vineyards aren't traditional wineries in the standard sense. It's not like it's a winery you can go visit. They're kind of like contractors. And then the third tier, you have wines that Aldi just flat out buys from other wineries. Things you may find in other stores. Sometimes these are closeout wines, maybe a producer needs to move some product quickly before the next vintage, or maybe they have too much stock on hand, so Aldi buys it up. Trader Joe's has pretty much the exact same model in place. At the bottom, it's got its very famous 2-Buck Chuck, or Charles Shaw, which is produced by Bronco Wines in California, and some other entry-level stuff under $5, which I believe is produced by the same Bronco Wines. Then they've got their Trader Joe's Reserve and other wines produced by partners across the world. And they too have some wines they buy just from producers, usually probably at a discounted price for one reason or another. But they actually have a really big selection of this. There's a lot of traditional producers in the Trader Joe's wine aisle. All right, for our tasting today, we're gonna go with the middle tier. I don't really wanna mess around with the super cheap bulk juice, but I do want wines that are being contracted by the stores and are at a price point similar to what I may spend at an actual wine shop. So let's get started. Round 1. All right, so here we go. Round 1, it's 2 Sauvignon Blancs. They're both from Marlborough, New Zealand. So they're both New Zealand Sauvignon Blancs. They're both 2021 vintage and they're only $1 apart. So this is the Exquisite Collection one from Aldi that is $9.99. This is the Trader Joe's wine, which is $8.99. Now, I've never tried any of the wines we're gonna taste today. I haven't tried any Aldi or Trader Joe's wines ever, if you can believe it. So it's not like I know what to be looking for. So I'm pretty encouraged with this round because light, crisp whites are actually the best wines to get sort of cheaply. One, like they're easy to make. You don't need oak or things that would make the wine expensive. And number 2, you can kind of hide some of the quote unquote flaws or nuance with high acidity and that chilling that you're gonna do because it's a light, crisp white wine. So these should be pretty good. And New Zealand is really known for having cheaper, good value wines. So we will see. This is about the price point they should be. I'm gonna go off camera. My wife's gonna pour the wines and mix them up. And then when I come back, I will not know which one is which, but you will. I'll put it on the screen. Okay, I'll be right back. Round number 1, I'll start on the left. Wow. So one thing we look for in New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc is gooseberry. And for some reason, New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc always has that more than a lot of other Sauvignon Blancs. And I get it from this, that's a good sign. I get some green, some grassy. I'm trying to see if I get some jalapeno. There's a little funk, and I can't determine if that's something I like or don't like. I think it's something I don't like. But overall, I think it's a pretty solid nose. Let's put it on the palate. Lots of acid, real country acidity, really salivating. That's what I want. The palate is confirming a lot of what I got on the nose. Citrus, gooseberry, not a ton going on, but I don't really expect too much going on with Sauvignon Blanc, so not terrible, not bad. All right, let's go with this one. This is completely different, shockingly different. No gooseberry, no green, no nothing. Maybe a little, but it's very faint. This nose is way more poppy. I'm having trouble getting anything. It's kind of weird. Okay. Oily texture, which I actually don't mind in some wines, but that's not what I want for my Sauvignon Blanc. I want bright, crisp, acidic, happy. Yeah, not a lot going on. Some citrus, not nearly crisp enough. This isn't even a contest. I actually thought this one would be like a really close contest, this round anyway. From an analysis standpoint, we judge a wine, we look kind of for three things. We look for complexity, balance, and finish. Now, complexity is how much you're getting. And I said, you're not getting a ton, but I'm not expecting a ton of different flavors from Sauvignon Blanc. It's Sauvignon Blanc, especially in the lower end. Balance is how well is the acid integrated with all the other characteristics, you know, the acid and the fruit and the sugar and all the things mixing together. And then finish is how long it stays on your palate. So as we go through these rounds, that's kind of how I'm gonna judge the wines. Against each other, it's not even a contest, it's this one. So I guess we should see which one it is, right? Who do you think it is? Oh yeah, that's right, you know what it is. All right, ready? Oh, okay, it's Trader Joe's by a mile. It's the Trader Joe's Sauv Blanc from New Zealand. So if you're rooting for Trader Joe's, that's one in the books for them. So then obviously this is the Aldi. Yeah, sorry about that, Aldi. Not my favorite. From let's give it a 1 out of 10, I would give this a solid 8.5. From just a general wine standpoint, this is pretty good New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc for the money. It's not the most complex thing I've ever had, but it's balanced, it's well made, and finish is, it's fine. It's medium short finish, but again, it's $10, so I'm not too hung up on that. This just doesn't have enough going on for me. A 4. It's not, I was gonna say 5, but I kind of a 4. I'm not in love with it. So, all right, round 1 goes to Trader Joe's. Okay, so full disclosure here. This wine seemed a little too good to be true, so after a tasting I did some Googling. This wine was labeled in the store as found only at Trader Joe's, which would have meant some sort of custom buy just for them, which is what I wanted to compare, and I took their word for it. But once I looked it up, I found out this is actually a fairly established producer and not a true custom order for Trader Joe's because they're found at a bunch of other places near me too. I still think it's a fair comparison because it was in the same price point, but Trader Joe's may have had a leg up in this round. Okay, so round 2 is the Chardonnay round. This is, again, the Exquisite Collection Chardonnay from Aldi, California 2020. When you say California 2020, it just means the wine could come from anywhere in California, probably inland, I would guess. Again, like I told you, where they make kind of cheaper, easy to buy grapes. And then this is the Trader Joe's Reserve Chardonnay. What's interesting about this is it's from the Alexander Valley, which is a specific AVA in Sonoma. A lot of times when you get more specific, you get better wines because there's just other yield controls in place. So we will see, obviously, when we get into it. This is $9.99, this is $8.99. Again, super comparable price points. I'm gonna go off set and I'll be right back. All right, here we go, the Chardonnay round. I'm more nervous about this round. Chardonnay is a wine that in cheap versions, they tend to want to get those oak flavors without actually using oak. And so you use artificial stuff, or they use too much mallow or things. I don't know, Chardonnay is just an easy grape to screw up, even though it's very easily planted and grown. So, I don't know, we will see, we'll see. I'll start on the left, I'll always start on the left, how about that? Right off the bat, that buttered popcorn flavor that I would expect, and that's honestly, that's pretty much it. And it's not super strong. It's actually not the most aromatic nose I've ever come across. Buttered popcorn, but like artificial butter. Like this tastes a little smells a little artificial to me rather. But let's get into it. Let me say something before we get into more. I try not to hate on wines. Every wine has people who put a lot of time and effort and work into it. And so I do think that it's important to always remember that when you're tasting wine that every bottle is a miracle, the fact that it got you for the price it got you. All that being said, you guys are watching for my honest opinion. For me personally, not very good. Not very balanced with your acidity and your body and other flavors. The flavors taste a bit artificial. There's not a whole lot going on. There's some buttery, oaky presence, and that's about it. I'm not really getting the fruit coming through that I would want. Let's go to the next one. Let's see. Okay, so this has that smell of kind of skim milk, honestly. It's got that like attempted butter flavor, which comes from malolactic fermentation, which is common in Chardonnay, but smells kind of skim milky. The balance is better. There's good acidity here. There's not as much of that artificial weirdness happening. All right, I'll get into my verdict on what I think the score is of the two wines, but I do have a winner for this round, and it's whatever this one is. Not really a ton happening, again, if I'm being honest, but at least it's better balanced and better integrated. All right, let's open it up. Here we go. Again, Trader Joe's. Again, so 2 for 2 Trader Joe's. I am sorry, Aldi. Here's my thing with these though. I mean, let's give a score to these. I'd give this again like a 4 or 5, and I'd probably give this like a 6, maybe 6.5. I'm not in love with either of these wines, if I'm being honest. This is fine wine if you just want something that reminds you of Chardonnay. But as far as could I get better quality Chardonnay in the $10 price point, I think I could. So overall, Trader Joe's with the win, but I would probably say not in love personally with either of these wines. All right, round 3. I wanted to do another international round from a place where I could give everybody a fighting chance because it's a value country. It's Argentina, and you can usually find good value wines from Argentina. This is La Finca from Trader Joe's, and this is Avanta Malbec from Aldi. I don't have much to say about these except for the fact that they were $5 each. So even though it's a value country, that's really, really low. But I wanted to see how they performed at this price point. Maybe I'll find a $5 wine that's amazing. I don't know. So we're gonna find out right now. I'm gonna go off camera. I'll be right back. All right, the Malbec round. Here we go. Starting on the left. They both look very, very similar. Kind of a pale purple. Pleasant. Pepper, lots of pepper, which I would honestly expect from a Shiraz, not from a Malbec, but I like it. Nice ripe purple fruits. I really like the nose. I might be pleasantly surprised. Let's try the palate. That is lights out for $5, whichever one it is. It's not amazing. The finish is very short. It's not exceedingly complex, but it's balanced. I love that peppery component. Maybe I'm a little biased because I really like Syrah, so I love kind of peppery, gamey wines. You know, the tannin structure, and tannins are the thing that dry your mouth out, is there. There's some, which, you know, I want a little bit of tannin. In a better wine, I might, you know, expect more that'll help the wine have a little longevity, but we're not buying $5 wine to lay down. We're buying it for this evening, right? Pleasantly surprised. All right. Let's go here. No. Again, I really hate being mean about wines. That's not why I'm in the wine space. But this, again, whichever wine this is, just kind of has nothing happening. There's no fruit. There's no, you know, the purple fruits I love from Malbec. There's no flowers. There's nothing. I just get a weird kind of, almost like a plasticky smell. It's not that great. Let's put it on the palate. It's not good. Yeah, it's sour, it's tart, the fruit isn't developed. Not my favorite. This, however, whatever this one is, pleasantly surprised for $5. Like blown away for $5, if I'm being honest. It's not the most magical wine, but you gotta take the price into account, yeah? So let's see which one it is. Is it continuing with the trend? That's my question. You know. Oh, no, they bucked the trend. This is the Aldi wine. I thought for sure it was gonna be Trader Joe's because Trader Joe's won the first 2 rounds. Very, very surprised. Wow. Like I said, not amazing, and so obviously this is then the Trader Joe's. We put the paper towels here so I can't see the top either, by the way, if you're wondering why there's paper towels flying off. Aldi is still in this. If it wins the last round, it's a tie game. I'd probably make this wine like a 7, maybe like 6.5. But that's because it's $5. And for that is a totally drinkable wine. This, on the other hand, I'm not gonna give it a score because, like I said, I don't wanna be mean, but just something I probably personally wouldn't buy for myself. So Aldi wins this round. We're going to the final round where Aldi could potentially pull an upset, bring it back to a tie, and then we'd have a tiebreaker, but they gotta win the last round first, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. So let's do that. That's it, this is fun. It wouldn't have been fun if Trader Joe's had won this one because then it's over. The last round doesn't matter. But now it's a competition. All right, here we go. Round 4. So can Aldi pull it out? So this is the Outlander from Aldi. This is a Paso Robles Cabernet. Paso Robles is in middle of California, Central Coast. Again, a good place for value. So I trust a $10 Cabernet from Paso Robles. And this is the Liberté Cabernet Sauvignon. Both same vintage, 2019, and this one's from Trader Joe's. I really like this bottle. They put a lot of effort into the label and the bottle, but as we know from my other video, Cheap versus Expensive, which you need to check out if you haven't, the label is not everything. Sometimes they'll put more money into the label to get you to buy, but not as much into the juice. So that doesn't mean anything. I'm encouraged by both of these. Paso Robles Cab at $10 should be achievable to have some decent wine. $9 from Aldi. This is $10 from Trader Joe's. Let's do it. All right, we are on to the final round. Paso Robles Cabernet, as always, start on the left. Oh, nice nose. Really nice. Really juicy, dark black fruit, like black cherry. Not super, super rich. Like I'm not in like super creamy cassis land, but I am in really ripe fruit land, which is what I want for Cabernet. And I get some beautiful spice box character that I would expect from Cabernet too. Good. More breadfruit on the palate. I would wish it was a little richer on the palate, but still really nice. Lots of vanilla. Lots and lots of vanilla, which is an oak signature. A little, I think, residual sugar. It's got a little bit of that candied fruit character. I think it's coming from leaving a little bit of residual sugar, which means sugar from the grapes. When they ferment, they don't let it all ferment. It also gives it a bit of a richer mouthfeel. That's why sometimes they'll do that. But overall, not a bad wine. All right, this guy. Again, there's a clear winner. Whatever this is I'm not getting the fruit care. A lot of these I'm getting really off smells. And I'm sorry to whoever I'm talking about with this, but I'm just getting really off non-wine smells, like things I shouldn't smell in wine. They're almost like a plasticky, almost like dirty smell. I don't like it. No fruit, no oak. Slightly better on the palate. Good acidity on whatever that is, but not a lot of flavor. It's definitely way too tart, in my opinion, for Cabernet. Tannin structure is actually there, but it's kind of abrasive. It's been amazing to me how there's pretty much been clear winners every time. That being said, it's a little sweet for me, but it's not bad. So, this is it. This is the big reveal. We're either gonna have a tie ball game or we have a winner. So if this is Trader Joe's, it's over. If this is Aldi, we're going to the extra innings. That's Trader Joe's, right? That's Trader Joe's. So it's over. Aldi, I'm sorry. you put up a good fight in the one round. I thought your Malbec was incredible, but this kind of clinched it for me. Trader Joe's wines winning 3 out of 4 rounds here. If I had to rank these wines, give them like scores, I'd give this wine a 7, a solid 7. I would easily pay $10 for this. Like $10 for that is actually a pretty good deal. So Trader Joe's, you get the win, congratulations. I need to sum up here in a minute. All right, so let's get into our final conclusion. First off, all of this is my preference. 100% this is my preference. And if you like any of the wines that I said I didn't like, that's totally fine. That's why they make a whole bunch of wines on the planet, is there's wines for everybody. Maybe if I would have picked different wines, right? Maybe Aldi would have come out the victor if I picked different wines versus the ones I actually picked. All that being said, I do think Trader Joe's had a stronger showing here for a couple reasons. Not just the fact that their wines won this competition, but because they had a much bigger wine selection, and they seemed like it was a managed wine selection. There actually seemed like a person there who runs that wine department, which I thought was really nice. And they had a huge variety of price points. Aldi was like very much, they have maybe 20 wines at most, and they were all kind of in the same price point. There was actually wines in Trader Joe's, not produced by Trader Joe's or for Trader Joe's, basically from other actual wine producers, that you could run the gamut of what you could get there. There was actually a really, really big selection, which I liked a lot. And their wines that they contract out are not that bad. So I was pleasantly surprised by the Trader Joe wines today. They put up a good showing. I still stand by what I said. I mean, you saw kind of the inconsistency, right? There were some wines that were good, or even, I'd say very good, but then there were some wines that were like, ugh, and they're from the same place. The difference when you go to a small wine shop is that they're gonna curate every single wine. Whereas Trader Joe's, they get what's handed to them, right? So they might have, hey, listen, we have a contract with these people. We've got 10,000 cases to move, so it's going in our stores. Whereas a small wine shop only brings in things they truly believe in, number one. Number two, they can go for like smaller batch, smaller production, things with more care. And they can help you find things you like when you talk to them. That being said, this was a lot of fun. And if you have strong opinions, by the way, if you completely disagree, maybe there's an Aldi wine that you love. You're like, dude, you didn't try this wine. This is the wine you should have gotten. Let me know. Maybe I'll go pick it up. Because like I said, their Malbec totally outperformed for $5. So I'm not totally opposed to trying some other things from Aldi. If you take away nothing else from this video, I hope you maybe understand a bit more about how these stores get these wines. A lot of times people go to grocery stores and they say, look at the selection, look at all these wineries. And understanding that they're not all wineries in the traditional sense, I think is really important for consumers to understand. It's not to say they're always bad wines. We found a couple gems that we really liked here. But I think understanding that not everyone is a traditional winery that has an estate that you can go visit is an important thing to know. To sum up, if you like this video, do me a favor, give me a like and give me a subscribe. We post new videos every single Friday. I'm doing more challenges like this, some wine tasting tutorials, and then we obviously have our full episodes, which you should definitely check out. Thanks for watching. I'm actually gonna pour a little bit more of this because it's pretty good. I'll see you next time. Until next wine. Hey, real quick, I didn't get to do my tiebreaker because we had a clear winner, but I figured we'd just do it for fun. So this is very, very famous Charles Shaw, what they call $2 Chuck, although inflation, it is no longer $2. First it was $1.99, a long time ago. Then it was $2.99, which still was $2. Now it's $3.50. But nevertheless, this is from Trader Joe's, made them famous. And then this is the Winking Owl, about the same price point from Aldi. They're both Cabernets, so let's just see which one wins. Actually, listen, not amazing, but not terrible. Oh, that's super fruity. That's like Jolly Ranchers. Listen, neither one is by any means the most exciting wine I've ever had, but I would give this a tie. They're both pretty good. As far as like, if I wanted to just chill and have fruit flavored juice, that's what they are. Yeah, they taste like alcoholic fruit juice, but they got a lot of residual sugar, a lot of fun fruity flavors. Tie.
Alcoholic fruit juice.
Decide which one she goes towards. All right, she picks Aldi. So see, it's really a tie game. She went this way.